All right, so ladies and gentlemen, my main PC has been experiencing some problems over the last few days, and I think it is power supply related. So I have three 3060 Ti's in here. If you're not familiar with it, I can mine on two of them, and I have them all set to 62% power, so they're not pulling very much. But then whenever I go and set this third one, and then start it mining, wait for the miner to kick back over. Hold on. Whenever I do this, it'll mine for a little bit, and especially if I try to crank the power up a little bit, it will actually kick the whole system off. Let's see if it does it live. Sometimes it takes a little while, a couple, sometimes even it'll last for a few hours. And it just started doing this, and I broke one of my rules. I bought a cheap power supply. It is an 80 plus rated power supply, which is kind of odd. But yeah, look at that. We're getting 57, 60, and 60 mega hash. This system is doing 12 bucks a day. Everything's good. Let's see if we can't just exaggerate the problem a little bit by, we'll crank the power up like 75 on all the cards. So that should, yeah, it should affect them all. So I just went up 75% power. Let's actually see what we're pulling from the wall. It is, dang, why is it so dark? $685, 700 watts. Okay, so we're bouncing from 600 to 700 watts. Each of these cards is pulling 150 watts a piece on the software side, and then I have a 6-core X99 setup in there, which is not mining on the CPU, but yeah, that's a 1050 watt CPU. So by ratings, I should be good up to 800 watts sustained. But ladies and gentlemen, it keeps kicking off. So I don't know if it'll do it while we're sitting here watching. If not, then I'm just going to stop this. But I did get a new power supply. We're going to be taking that thing out. I'll retire that to run like a 1 or 2 card rig or something smaller. It just can't handle it. And I kind of want to show you guys a little heads up. One of my buddies over in the Discord chat was like, hey man, that power supply is sus, because just look at the outputs. Let's actually see what this power supply is rated for, like max, with the outputs that are on it. All right, so here's the power supply I pulled out of there. It's supposed to be 1050 watt. It's in a PVIA 80 plus rated bronze, but look at this 1000 watt. Look at the amount of plugs it has coming off of it. Very, very weak. It's got only, technically, I'm gonna call this one lead because it's split, but one, and then this one's split too, but 2 PCI Express leads. So I mean, that already limits your power output heavily right there. Not to mention, it's only got one 4x4 for CPU power, if that'll focus. So like on this, it's an extreme board. It's got 4x4 going in there, and then another 4-pin somewhere over there. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So there's a 4-pin and then 4x4 8-pin over there. So this 1000 watt power supply technically isn't even powering the board up all the way for like the bigger chips and heavy overclocking and stuff. So yeah, but I will be replacing it, and I got a good deal on that. It's realistically, that's like a solid 600 to 700 watt power supply, and it's giving out at around 600 to 700 watts, which makes sense. They just overrated the heck out of that power supply, and that makes it bad. I mean, it's not necessarily bad, but yeah, it ain't gonna work. Now I do have a super flower. This is a platinum, 92%, 1000 watt, and this is the LeadX SE series. Look at this 1000 watt. This is technically 50 watts less than the other power supply, and look at the amount of plugs on this thing. That's the difference, ladies and gentlemen, between a solid power supply and a cheapo power supply. Superflower, I was not even aware of this. I was actually clowning on them at first, but I didn't realize Superflower makes a majority of the power supplies for a lot of these other companies like Corsair or EVGA, that kind of thing. So don't knock them before you try them. These are basically the same kind of power supplies as the Platinums with the bigger name brands, but you can get these for a little bit cheaper. I scored this on Newegg for $1.99 with free shipping, so I was pretty pumped about that because all the other 1,000 watt Platinum power supplies that were fully modular were 300 and up. So yeah, steals on steals. I'm gonna open this up and throw it in the system and get back to work. Alright guys, so I have the Superflower in there now, the 1,000 watt Platinum power supply, and we are up and mining 59, 60, 60 mega hash. So this rig's doing 180 mega hash on these 33060s, $12.81 a day. Boom. I need to, this is the one that the monitors are plugged into, so it pulls it down about 1 mega hash. Now that I have the actual power supply, I can pump that up a little bit. But I thought something was really cool, or really curious, is, hold on. My other power supply was doing what? Pulling like 600 watts from the wall, mining on 2 cards. Look at this, guys. I'm mining on 3 cards now, and I'm using less wattage. So that's a huge difference in efficiency. I didn't think that the ATX power, or, you know, if it was rated 80 plus, it should be 80% efficient, right? I know it's not all linear, but look at this. Hold on, I gotta show you. 575 watts, and I'll make it one continuous cut. Boom, 575 watts mining on these 3 cards. The software says they're doing 140 watts a piece. So if we break out the old calculator, where's our calculator at? Oh, there it was on the other screen. 140 watts a piece times 3, 420 watts, and then another 100 watts for the you know, CPU, motherboard. Got a couple. I have a hard drive in there. Got a couple SSDs. That's much better than what it was doing. It was doing 600 watts on just 2 cards, and then bumping up to 700 watts doing 3. So this power supply is a lot more efficient, and it just goes to show you, know what you buy, and just because it's rated 80 plus doesn't mean it is what it is. So yeah, if you guys have ever had any experiences with some bad power supplies or some odd ones, please comment down below. I'd be interested to hear what you guys have been through, because most of the power supplies I use for mining are server power supplies, so they're tried and true, they're tested, they're platinum or gold rated, so it's not like they're anything sketchy. But yeah, so with that being said, guys, y'all have a good night. Peace out, adios, and stay hashing.